Whether you're new to the gym or not, if you start implementing these 3 tips, I'm pretty sure you're gonna start seeing even more gains than you otherwise would. What's up everyone? David here. Got a new video for y'all today. But before we get into it, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on any new videos. Because remember, new videos on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. So don't miss out. Now today, it doesn't matter whether you're a beginner, intermediate, and maybe an advanced lifter, you start implementing these 3 tips right here. 3 real small, either technique tips, programming tips, or just long-term looking at the big picture. These 3 things right here, it can help you make more gains. Now the type of gains that I'm talking about are gonna be the typical ones that I'm pretty sure most of you are trying to get. You're in the gym, you're lifting weights. Why? Try to build muscle, build strength, look bigger, training for looks, performance, things of that nature. The 3 things that I'm talking about here are gonna be the amount of reps you're doing, how frequently you're training, and tracking your long-term progress. And that's gonna be a big thing here. I'm talking about long-term. Don't be those type of people that where they go to the gym, they don't see results after 2 weeks and then they give up. No, if you want to achieve your goals, you have to give it time. Put it this way, it took you years of practicing bad habits, and that's why you're going to the gym in the first place. Obviously, it's gonna take a long time to undo those habits and build up better ones. So with that being said, let's get into the first one. Reps, short for repetitions. Pretty much how many times are you lifting the weight? Doesn't matter what exercise you're doing, every single thing that you're gonna be doing in the gym is gonna revolve around, the number of repetitions that you're doing. And this is where a lot of people, they're cutting themselves short. They're not seeing the maximum amount of gains that they could. Why? It's because they give up too easily. You got to understand that when it comes to seeing results, when it comes to building muscle, when it comes to building strength, you have to push past your limits. It's gonna feel uncomfortable, it's gonna hurt, it's gonna burn, you're gonna feel pain. Those reps where you're starting to feel those things, those are the ones that are gonna be getting you results. The first few, obviously, you're burning through them, no big deal. They feel good, you don't think much of it. But once you start feeling that slight pain, that discomfort, that burning sensation in your muscles, no, those are the ones that count. That's when you'll start seeing results. Once you feel that point, that's when you really got to keep going. But the thing is, especially amongst beginners, once you start feeling that sort of burning sensation in the muscle, you stop. Because again, you're not used to feeling that. No. If you stop at that point, realistically, all those reps before that are gonna get you absolutely nowhere. They're not gonna be getting you any kind of results. It's not until you push to those painful reps, those last few, those are the ones that are gonna be getting you results. Now, with that said, how many repetitions is gonna take to get to that point? Typically, amongst the gym community, let's just say to build muscle, we always revolve around the 8 to 12 rep range. Me personally, if you're looking at the research, because again, I studied this, got a degree in this, I like to think I know a little bit more about it. When you really break it down, it's not just 8 to 12 reps that will give you the hypertrophic responses. Hypertrophic, that means building the muscle up, making it bigger, making it stronger. You could actually go with 6 to 15 reps. Now, let's just say I pick a real lightweight and I do 15 reps. Okay, I'm at the top of the rep range and, it felt easy. Am I going to be seeing results? I'm within the rep range that's indicated. Or let's just say I stop right in the middle and get somewhere around 10 reps. Will I be seeing results? The answer is no, because it's also the quality of the repetition that matters. Pretty much, you have to pick a weight where it will allow you to land within this goal right here, these rep ranges. But once you're done with your last rep, then you should be able to do 1, maybe 2 more reps at the very end. You don't necessarily have to go to failure every single set of every exercise. That's what many people think. They think that you have to push to failure, go all out. No, that's not necessarily the case. What you need to do is train close to failure, but you don't have to push it overboard. So if I were to pick a weight and I was able to lift it, let's just say 9 reps, which is still within this rep range, but I could have done 1, maybe 2 more. So maybe I could have done 10 reps, maybe an 11th. And after that, done. That's perfect. You see, you didn't necessarily go to failure, but you still pushed hard enough to elicit some type of stimulus so your muscle can see an adaptation. Because again, when it comes to building muscle gains, you want to put stimulus on that muscle. You want to give it a reason to grow bigger and stronger, to adapt to whatever strain you're putting it towards. So again, don't just limit yourself to 8 to 12 reps. Aim towards the 6 to 15. So again, you could go a little heavier and it'll just decrease the reps, or you can go a little lighter and you can start increasing the reps. Now, how high up can you increase it? I know many of you, you may not be into, the traditional type of weightlifting, let's just say bodybuilding split. I know many of you, you take group exercise classes, you might be taking some HIIT circuit class, something like that. Typically with those kinds of exercises or those type of routines, it's more time-based and you're gonna be hitting a higher amount of reps. So let's just say within the 45-second interval, the 1-minute interval that you're gonna be working, you get 50 to 60 reps. When you really think about it, and if you dive deep into the research, because there is plenty of credible research out there, even if you do sets of 50 to 60 reps, that can still allow your muscle to grow so long as that final rep that you did is hard enough and difficult enough to the point where you could have done only 1 to 2 more reps left at the end. So again, pushing close to failure, but not necessarily to failure. Now, anything more than that, then that's just overboard. I mean, come on, that's just gonna be wasting a lot of time. If you're hitting 50 to 60 reps, just go heavier and aim more towards these rep ranges up here. And for most people, it's gonna be hard to get to the higher rep range, not necessarily because their muscles are starting to burn and starting to give up. It's more of their cardiovascular work is not as good enough to get them, most likely, especially like on squats. You're not gonna be hitting 60 sets of squats with a given weight. Your legs are not necessarily what are going to be giving out, that quad burn. Most likely is your heart rate, your breathing that's going to be the limiting factor. So although this has a time and place, there is research backing it up, for most people, it's just not feasible. Now, what I would suggest also, and this is one thing that has really helped me, is not only sticking to the hypertrophy rep range, like up here. No. Let's start focusing on the 1 to 5 rep range for strength. So me, I do a little bit of both, the best of both worlds, having the strength of a powerlifter, but looking like a bodybuilder. So let's hit a couple of sets with the rep ranges for bodybuilding to build up the muscle, but let's go at a couple of the lower rep ranges to build up the strength to be able to perform like a power lifter. It's the best of both worlds. Now, regardless, whether you're lifting 1 rep or up to 15 reps, if you're lifting weights, you're still contracting your muscles. You're still stretching them, contracting them. Regardless, at the end of the day, they're gonna grow bigger and stronger because that's just a byproduct of lifting weights. However, when you lift in this lower rep range, yes, you will be training both. You will be building strength and you will be building muscle, but there's gonna be a bigger emphasis on the strength portion, just as up here. Yes, these are hypertrophy rep ranges, bodybuilding rep ranges. You will be building muscle, but you will also be building strength. It's just you're gonna be leaning more towards the other. So what is my biggest recommendation? Switch it up between both rep ranges. The way I go about it is when it comes to the strength movements, I'm talking about my squats, I'm talking about my bench pressing, and I'm talking about my deadlifting. With those bigger compound movements, I would aim for this lower rep range. That's when I'll really just start hitting it hard, just heavy, grinding out those heavy repetitions. But when I go to the hypertrophy sets, I will do the same exercises, the big compound movements, but I'll do a couple back down sets with lighter weight, but for higher rep ranges. So you can see, and you can do that with any exercise, but it would be a little bit more feasible to do it with the big compound lifts, the big barbell movements. Like again, in my case, squats, benches, deadlifts. Because when you really think about it, if we were to do this for like laterals, tricep pushdowns, no one really asks you what is your 1 rep max on a lateral raise. No one asks you what is your 1 rep max on a tricep pushdown. No one asks you what your 1 rep max is on a hamstring curl. So you see, certain exercises, it just doesn't make sense to go about 1 to 5 rep ranges, but others it does. Regardless, at the end of the day, I would say on the big compound barbell movements, alternate between the hypertrophy rep ranges and the strength rep ranges. Overall, at the end of the day, you're still gonna be seeing results, and it's a good way to just change up your workout routine so it's not just so boring, so mundane. You're not doing the same thing day in and day out. Go 2 weeks heavy, 2 weeks light, alternating between 2, or just do what I do. Work up to your top set of strength for those 3 big movements, and then do a couple back down sets with the lighter rep ranges. So again, just bottom line, when it comes to your repetitions, alter it, change it up, switch it up week to week, focus on strength, focus on hypertrophy, strength of a power lifter, physique of a bodybuilder. Next, frequency. How frequently are you training each muscle group? Now, again, if your goal is to build muscle, I'm pretty sure at one point or another, especially for you guys out there, men, boys, all of you, you're following the bro split, or at least you follow the bro split at one point or another. I'm talking about chest day, back day, leg day, shoulder day, arm day. The only problem with that is there's certain muscle groups in there that are not being trained as frequently as others. Let's put it this way. Chest. What else are you working? Anytime you're doing any type of pushing motion, you're also working out your triceps. When you do shoulders, you're doing shoulder press, that works out your triceps. And then obviously on arm day, you're working your triceps directly. That's 3 days of triceps. Back, any type of rowing exercise is gonna be working your biceps. Arms, you're working your biceps directly again. So you see, there's multiple muscle groups here that yes, you are training them 2 to 3 times per week. But legs, you're only working them out once per week. So obviously your upper body is gonna get massive, but in proportion to that, your legs are not gonna be growing as much. No, we gotta change the frequency. Now, depending on your availability, how frequently you go to the gym, just because we all have busy schedules, we can't be going every day, but with the days that you can get your workouts in throughout the week, in a perfect world, you should be able to train each major muscle group twice per week. So train your legs twice per week, train your arms twice per week, your chest and your back, train them twice per week. Ideally, again, everyone's gonna be a little different based on their availability and how often they can hit the gym. If you can only go to the gym and train everything once a week, okay, that's fine, that's better than nothing. But if we were to switch out this routine for an upper, lower type of split, then yes, you see, you're training everything twice per week. Upper body gets trained twice a week, get a couple pressing, a couple pulling, and some direct arm work on day 1, okay? And do the same thing during your second upper body day. And then lower body, same thing. Get a couple squats, a couple deadlifts, RDLs, hamstring curls, leg extension, calf raises on day 1. Do the same thing the second time you're training legs that week. So you see, you're training everything twice per week. The more frequently you train it, then it can lead to more gains. Because think about it, now you're doing twice the amount of work. So can you see twice the amount of gains? Possibly. Assuming that you're taking your rest into account, you have at least 1 day of rest between muscle groups, then obviously all of that will line up perfectly. If you want even more, then you can go with a push-pull legs type of split, but repeat it twice. So now you're working out 6 days per week. Monday push, Tuesday pull, Wednesday legs, and then repeat it again. Thursday push, Friday pull, Saturday legs, Sunday you rest. So yeah, you're training 6 days in a row, but you're not training the same muscle groups 2 days in a row. Get what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, frequency, get in the habit of trying to train each major muscle group twice per week, but do not train them 2 consecutive days. If you train legs on Monday, wait at least 1 day before you train them again. So don't train them again on Tuesday, wait until Wednesday or Thursday, have a couple of days rest. You cannot be training the same muscle group 2 days in a row. You're not gonna give it enough time to rest, and your muscles are only gonna grow if you get an adequate amount of time to rest. And lastly, this final tip is probably gonna be the easiest one to implement as a whole, but they are, when you really think about it, they all are pretty easy to start implementing. These are just simple tips to help you make even more gains. It's not that hard to just change your rep schemes. Either add more weight, take off weight, do higher reps, do lower reps. Frequency, okay, you're already going to the gym X amount of days, just change what you're training on each day to get at least everything twice per week. This one's gonna be even easier. Do something as simple as just tracking your progress. What happens if you've been hitting the gym for 6 months, but you're not seeing any results? Why aren't you seeing results? Well, if you were to track your progress and keep note of everything you've been doing up until this point, then you can backtrack and see, well, I've been doing this, but it's not working. But if you were to make a slight change, okay, now I'm gonna start doing this instead, and then 3 months from now, all of a sudden, now you're seeing results? Okay, go back, look at what was changed and do more of that. So you see, you got to be able to track your progress so that way you know if you were to have made results or not. So progress is going to vary from person to person because everyone has different goals. For one person, tracking progress means tracking how much muscle they've gained. For someone who's trying to lose weight, progress can be how much weight they've lost. For someone who's training for strength, progress could be how much they increase their bench press. You see, all these things need to be taken into account. Figure out what progress means to you. Progress pretty much means is measuring how close you are to your goal. So with that said, you got to figure out what your goal is. Given that you already know what your goal is, you can track it based off of weight. Are you continually adding weight on the bar? Are you able to lift heavier on each exercise? Yes or no? If months go by and you're still lifting the exact same amount of weight and it's still equally as challenging, you're not seeing any strength increases, that's a problem. You're doing something wrong, because ideally if you're getting bigger and stronger, you should be able to lift heavier and heavier if that's your goal.
Repetitions. Sometimes you can keep the weight the same because you can only add 5 more pounds each week to your bench press. You can only add so much more weight to your deadlifts and your squats week in and week out. Eventually, you're just gonna give out. But what you can do is keep the weight the same from week to week, but increase the amount of reps that you're doing. And that goes hand in hand with this one right here, the repetitions. So let's just say me, I've been stuck on 225 for the longest time and I just can't add any more weight. Okay, but what I can do is start focusing on the reps. So whereas in this week I was able to get 225 for 4 reps, and then next week I tried going 230 for 4 reps and it didn't work out. No, okay, let's go about it this way. Keep the weight at 225, but instead of 4 reps, let's now aim for 5 reps. And then the following week, instead of adding more weight to get to 230, keep the weight at 225, but now add another rep. Now get it for 6 reps. So you see, weight can always stay the same, but you can increase the amount of repetitions you're doing. That's still progress because that's still some type of improvement. RPE, rate of perceived exertion. How difficult was that set? How difficult was that rep? So if I were to do some type of heavy compound movement, let's just say whether it be the squat, the bench, the deadlift, or any variations of those lifts, and let's just say I keep the weight and reps the same. Squatting, 315. I do it every week for 4 weeks. I already know. Every Monday, I train legs. First exercise I'm gonna be doing are squats. For 4 weeks, the top set of each one of those 4 leg days is going to be 315 for 5 reps. But if I were to record myself on week 1 and see how difficult that top set of 315 for 4 reps was, and then 4 weeks later, I can see I record myself and now I'm breezing through. Those 5 reps are going up and down super easy, whereas in week 1, I was grinding out that last rep. That's progress, because that weight for that amount of reps that was difficult on week 1 is all of a sudden 4 weeks later now super easy and I'm repping it out. It looks like a warm-up set. That is progress. You see, you're seeing improvements in one way, shape, or form. If you're training for looks, losing weight, building muscle, physique, aesthetics, take your progress pics. So although you may not be able to see yourself in the mirror and see the changes day in and day out because you see yourself every day, go back to day 1 photo, compare it to day 60 photo. Tell me there's not a difference there. Again, if you don't see a difference, then you got to backtrack and see what is it that I'm doing wrong. Obviously, I've been hitting the gym now for 60 days, 2 months essentially, no progress. Something's not right. Goals to lose weight. Okay, body weight scale. You go in day 1, you weigh yourself. All right, I'm 200 pounds. And then a couple of days later, okay, now I'm at 197, 196, 194, 189. You start lowering the weight. Okay, over time, you'll start seeing the numbers going down. All of these ways are great ways to track progress. And if you can track your progress, you can see what works, keep doing more of that, or you can see what isn't getting results and do away with it completely. So there you have it, everyone. Again, these 3 tips right here, they're not too difficult to start implementing into your current routine. When it comes to repetitions, just alternate them. Stagger between a couple of heavy sets and a couple of lighter sets. Focus on strength, focus on hypertrophy. Get the best of both worlds, and you'll be surprised with how much more progress you'll see, and it'll make the training a little more exciting so you're not just doing the same thing day in and day out. When it comes to your frequency, it's as simple as just getting everything worked out at least twice per week. Again, if you can only do it once per week, it's better than nothing. And then track progress. If you're just going day in and day out and you're not seeing results, that should be a pretty good indication that what you're doing is not working. So you got to find what is working and stick with it. And the only way you'll know is if you actually log it, keep it down. Think about it. If you budget your finances, you keep track of what needs to be spent more on or where you can cut corners. Same thing with the weights. Treat it just like that, and you'll be surprised with how much more progress you'll see in the long term. Hopefully you all enjoyed this video. Comment down below if you did, and comment down below any other simple, small things that people could start implementing to help them see more results. Let's try to help each other out. And also comment down below any other video suggestions you'd like to see me do, whether it be about mindset, motivation, nutrition, diets, workouts, programs, whatever it is, comment down below. I'd be more than happy to help you all out. Be sure to subscribe to my channel so you miss on any new videos, because remember, new videos on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, so don't miss out. And then Instagram and TikTok, same thing. Be sure to follow me on both accounts. I put all my links down in the description below. With that being said, I'll catch y'all next time.